Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer. Today we're here for yet another Civilization 6 Wonder Spotlight, where today we'll be taking a look at the Colosseum. So the Colosseum is a wonder that is unlocked with the Games and Recreation Civic. This does make it a classical era wonder. Games and Recreation is fairly easy to get to. It is a little bit further than most of the other wonders that we've talked about thus far, but it still is fairly easy to boost. All you have to do is have the construction technology researched. It does make it a lot harder to rush the Colosseum in comparison to the other wonders that we've talked about, like with the Oracle or the Hanging Gardens. It's a fairly straight line path that you can immediately go to get those wonders, but not so much with the Colosseum. You can kind of focus it, but for the most part, I would say that you're not going to be straight up rushing for the Colosseum, but you definitely can focus your way on the Civic tree if that is something that you would want to do, and that very well may be something that you want to do once we talk about the bonuses that the Colosseum gives. So once you research the Games and Recreation Civic, you will be able to put down the Colosseum, and as far as its building requirements are concerned, you must build it adjacent to an entertainment complex district, and you must build it on flat land. This is a very easy set of requirements to fulfill, as long as you're careful enough to make sure that you have an entertainment complex in a city with moderate production that also has a neighboring flatland tile. I find that in almost every single game I'm able to get this done. The toughest part of this is just making sure that you build your entertainment complex in a decent city so that you'll be able to build the Colosseum in a city that has a good production output, so that way it's not going to take like 30 million years to build. But overall, the building requirements for the Colosseum are fairly straightforward and easy to accomplish. The real difficulty with placing the Colosseum, though, doesn't really come from its building requirements, but rather your own ability to utilize its bonuses, which we will talk about in just a few seconds here. But once you are finding a good spot to place the Colosseum down, it will have a production cost of 400 production, which is fairly average for most of the classical era wonders, and just as a ballpark, amount of turns that's going to take you about 20 turns, which is what most of the wonders in the game take. Obviously, that is going to vary if you have either a lot more production or a lot below average production in a given city, but just as a ballpark estimate, I would say around 20 to 25 turns to build the Colosseum. Let's go ahead and move on to its bonuses now, which are incredibly strong, definitely one of the best wonders in the game because of them. So the Colosseum will provide +2 culture, +2 amenities, and +2 loyalty per turn, and although that doesn't seem that great at first, you then take the fact that all of these bonuses extend to all cities within 6 tiles of the Colosseum. So if you have, 5 cities that are within 6 tiles of the Colosseum, you're going to be getting +10 culture, +10 amenities, and +10 loyalty per turn. Obviously that's going to be 2 amenities to each city and 2 loyalty to each city as well, but that total of 10 culture as well. So being able to put the Colosseum in the center of your empire, in which it's going to be able to affect a lot of cities, is crucial towards utilizing it, and if you are able to utilize that well, it is going to be one of the best wonders in the game without a doubt. Getting +10 culture per turn alone is pretty strong, but then take into account that you're going to be getting +10 total amenities as well. That makes it even better, because that means that, as we discussed in the amenities in-depth video, if you're able to keep your citizens happy or ecstatic, you're going to get percentage-based yield bonuses in all of those cities that are happy or ecstatic. So being able to get +2 amenities in every single city within 6 tiles of the Colosseum is absolutely incredible. And the +2 loyalty per turn in all of those cities as well is something that is a little bit nice. Normally it's not utilized as much as the amenities, but it is still something that is a nice bonus as well. So overall for the Colosseum, it's not that difficult to build, and it really does have some incredible bonuses if you're able to plan it out very well. And now it is that time to rate the Colosseum. So what I do is I give each wonder a rating on a 1 to 5 scale, with 5 being the very best and 1 being the very worst. I also am going to go over some use cases and just some cases that I find the Colosseum to be particularly useful in, and I'm going to give it a difficulty and consistency rating as well. Both of those difficulties are on the 1 to 5 scale as well, with 5 being the most difficult / most consistent, and 1 being the least difficult / least consistent. Should also be noted that the difficulty rating is judged assuming deity difficulty, just because that's mostly what these guides are geared towards. So I'm not going to assume prince difficulty or anything like that. It's going to be assuming deity difficulty, and that really just judges how hard of a time you're going to have competing with the AI to build the wonder. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's rate the Colosseum. So for the Colosseum's overall rating, I definitely think that the Colosseum deserves a 5. It is easily one of the best wonders in the game, as I've mentioned already. As far as use cases for the Colosseum go, some of the ones that really stand out are 1 for combating war weariness. So whenever you're fighting wars in Civ 6, you are going to encounter some war weariness, which is going to lower the number of amenities that you have in your cities, and having the Colosseum just makes it very easy to combat this, because if you're able to get, an additional +8, +10 amenities, that's going to make it so that you can fight for a lot longer without having to worry about that amenity loss. The other really big use case for the Colosseum is to get those extra yields from happiness. So as I mentioned, if your cities are happy or ecstatic, then you will get percentage-based bonuses to all yields except for food, which just stacks up incredibly well with the Colosseum, because if you're able to get an additional, 4 or 5 cities into the happy or ecstatic territory, then that's going to benefit you extremely well. One of the other things that I didn't mention is that even though the Colosseum will only provide amenities to cities that are within its radius of effect, the overall amenity gain can actually be helpful towards cities that are even outside of that radius as well, simply because of the fact of, if you remember from the amenities in-depth video, your luxury resources will spread out to cities based on which cities need them the most. So say you have, 6 cities, and 4 of them get 2 extra amenities from the Colosseum. Well then, since those 4 cities are going to be happier than the other ones, then your amenities from luxury resources will redistribute to the other cities, thus making them happier as well. So a lot of the time, even though you're only going to have a few cities that are directly affected by the Colosseum, your happiness will go up in all of your cities as well, just because of that redistribution of luxuries. So overall, the Colosseum is incredibly helpful for that use case, and it can just help you get a ton of extra yields just from keeping your citizens happy. And if you want to know more about that, feel free to check out my amenities in-depth video. As far as the difficulty rating for the Colosseum is concerned, I think that it deserves a 3. It's not a particularly difficult wonder to get, but you still have to be a little bit competitive if you want to go for it. You definitely don't need to rush for the Colosseum, but the faster you get there, the better, because normally the Colosseum is built within a reasonable time frame, around when you would normally research it. So it's not like one of those wonders that none of the AI pretty much ever builds, like Mausoleum, which I know even though some of them do, but it's not like Mausoleum that it's not very commonly built, but it's also not like the Hanging Gardens where it's going to be built before you can even reach the technology to build it. So for that reason, it is fairly average difficulty, and I think it deserves the 3. As far as consistency is concerned, I think it deserves another 3. If you're a very skilled and experienced player and you're really good with planning out where your cities are going to go, and maybe you're using a mod like MapTax to plan out where all of your districts and all of your cities are going to be placed down beforehand, then the Colosseum can be very easy and very consistent if you have that level of planning. If maybe you're a little bit less experienced of a player and you kind of just, go things, you kind of go with the flow whenever you play Civ, and you put down cities wherever based on where you're feeling like it, then it can be a little bit less consistent, and maybe you won't get as many effects just from the radius of effect of the Colosseum. So just because of that reason, because of the difference in experience that can really make the Colosseum either a really great wonder or a really just good wonder, I think it definitely deserves the 3 rating. So thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.